We got to work on our transition, though, because I click it and people see us for a second going, what? Oh, adjusting our shirts. I don't know what's going on. So
I know. We were not ready. All right.
Yes. Are we ever ready, though?
Here we are. I think every once in a while, maybe once a month we're ready. All the other days, we just wing it.
Yeah.
We're good wingers.
Well,
we should work at Wingstop. Oh, all right, never mind. Okay, all right. I overdid it.
The corny jokes are for me. Oh, which, by the way, though, it is funny that you say that because.
See, I knew it. Look at you shopping at Rick Ross's favorite outlet.
He called me up and sent an order over, because he was like, "Hey, love the show, man. Here you go."
Well, see, Rick Ross doesn't call me. He just comes over. I talk to him in person. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Does LeBron get jealous?
No, of course not. I know a lot of billionaires and millionaires, so they just we all just kind of like a group text message that you're not a part of.
So you know a lot of millionaires and billionaires, and here we are doing the show for free. Thanks, Rodg. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
All right,
you're doing it for free.
I'm
sorry.
So at some point we got to get into the show.
What now?
At some point we have to get into the show.
Oh yeah, let's do it. Sorry.
A minute and 37 seconds in. Okay.
Oh wow. Okay.
NFL draft. I know as he looks. So
NFL
by the
draft,
way,
yes.
everybody's watching. The Philly and Boston are playing right now. So whenever you see us do like this,
look up at the
Yeah,
we're trying to keep an eye on the game so we can talk about it possibly.
Say what? Yeah.
That's true.
Well, no Embiid tonight though, and who knows how long he's going to be out of this series. This is
we'll
talk about it more in the NBA section, but
I'm glad you brought that up because all right, let's get to it.
All right, NFL draft was this past Thursday, and then all weekend, I guess. With all the smoke screens and all the craziness and everything happening, it still came down to Bryce Young, number one. LeBron James was not drafted. So still came down to Bryce Young being drafted number one, CJ Stroud number two. Surprise move. Houston comes back in and gets Will Anderson at number three. But and then Anthony Richardson goes to the Colts as well. So after everything we saw, it still comes down to what you thought was going to happen. I mean, were you surprised, not surprised?
I was not surprised at the 1 and 2 picks. I felt like that could have gone either way. But I
want to post this comment during the NBA section, but you have to know this.
Oh wow, really? Oh my gosh, she spelled "aren't" wrong, so we got to delete it. Good evening, Brett. I hope you're having a fantastic day.
Yes.
Right.
Britt has latched on to Stephen Curry thanks to Aisha Curry, and Rodg, of course, is a LeBron fan. So the next this series is going to be kind of contentious around the household. So
yes, and we'll get into that.
Group chat is already blowing up.
Yeah. All right, so the NFL draft. To answer your question, I guess the 1 and 2 picks kind of fell the way I thought they would. I felt like they could have gone either way. CJ Stroud could have gone one, vice versa. I did not. Nobody saw the surprise coming as far as Houston trading up and being able to get Will Anderson as well. Do you think that was because DeMeco Ryans is their coach and he said,
and you were already saying what I was about to say? 1,000%.
Go ahead.
So the talk going up to the draft was that Houston wasn't really enamored with a quarterback. All that was DeMeco Ryans was saying, hey, if I can't get Bryce Young, I want a defender. I want Will Anderson.
Yeah.
So they said, look, if we do both, will you be happy? He said, fine. Yeah. Because I always thought CJ Stroud and Bryce Young should go 1 and 2. And I felt like those were kind of no-brainer, great picks. I trust both quarterbacks. So I understand, wanting a guy like Will Anderson, but I felt like quarterback position has to come first. So when they traded back up and got Will, I think I was working or something at the time. So all of a sudden the draft tracker came on and it was like Will Anderson third. And I was like, okay, to the Texans. I was like, I'm sitting there clicking everything, trying to figure out how this happened. I knew they weren't on the clock again. I was like, "What?"
Well, what did Houston have to? What was the trade? What did Houston have to give up?
I think they traded some of their draft capital that they got from, if I'm not mistaken, the Deshaun Watson trade. So I think they lost the number 12 pick from later, and then a first rounder next year. Which no, it was their own first rounder because people are already saying if they play better, then they're going to lose. But if they're terrible, they're going to miss out on that number 1 draft pick. So. But I love Will Anderson, but I don't know that I make that trade with a team that's rebuilding. But
what if it wasn't Will Anderson? What would you have picked? Would you have picked maybe a receiver or something about Stroud? Or
no. I mean, I would have stayed back at 12 and maybe got a receiver or something like that for Bryce or work on the defense. But I just wouldn't have traded up at all.
Gotcha.
I would have if you trade to 3,
I see what
then
you're saying.
You have to get the best defender.
Yeah.
So I agree with that part of it,
and that's why I said I'm okay. I'm okay with what D'Amico did. I think you have to. You're not going to win in this league unless you have a quarterback. So you got what we think right now is your franchise quarterback, and obviously we'll see over the next few years how C.J. Stroud plays. And then you got your good starting linebacker with. Well, I'm assuming he'll start too when Will Anderson. And let's not forget he also got Henry To'oTo'o at the end of the draft too. So I see what he did there. I'm okay with what
did he. What did he do there? Like, are you high on?
He got his quarterback, and he got some Alabama defenders. So I mean, I'm okay with that. They only won. Houston won what, 1 game last year, or was it 3 games?
I think 3. They won enough to get out of the number 1 spot. So
you're right. You're right. So they won 3 games. So I can see them improving. Without looking at their schedule, I mean, they're probably like a 5 or 6 week team. It's going to take C.J. Stroud a couple years to kind of get acclimated with the NFL and to start to shine. But it's a good start.
Yep, I agree.
Yep.
Were you surprised Richardson went 4th?
That's a very good question. I'm going to say yes.
They're all very good questions, but go ahead.
I'm going to say yes and no, but yes, because with all the hype surrounding him and how good he did in his combine, he was, I guess, projected to go high. And no, because, well, yeah. And then I didn't know if it was going to be him or Will Levis. And obviously we saw what happened to Will Levis. He fell to the 2nd round. So I don't know. I hope Anthony Richardson has a very successful NFL career, but based on what I've seen on the film and his games at Florida, I just don't see how that's going to pan out in the league. I understand physically he's like another Cam Newton. I get that. But in the NFL, you're going to have to be able to throw the ball and make some accurate passes and kind of avoid some of those interceptions. And I don't know if he's ready to do that right now. It's going to take some time.
Right. No, I agree. It's a good assessment. Wow. Have you been studying up before you got on the show, or like you don't usually sound so smart and educated?
I might have printed off a few papers.
Okay. I'm actually in a group chat with a couple guys, and I texted them, and I was like, "Man, I feel bad for Will Levis." And one of the guys texts back, "F Will Levis," and I was like, "Yeah." I'm not saying I feel bad for him like not getting drafted. I feel bad for him getting invited there,
right,
and then getting having
and waiting there.
Yeah, I was never
having
sold
his
on
family
him.
and his girlfriend there, kind of like what's
yeah.
I understand.
And Will Levis' sister
I wasn't sold on him. Was that his girlfriend was there too, I think.
Yeah, but his sister was the one trending.
So, yeah, okay, gotcha. But good for him. At least he got drafted 2nd round when Tennessee made that. I think Tennessee made a trade, so we kind of know that they're over Tannehill. Malik Willis didn't really pan out in the games that he started, so
I didn't realize they only gave him 1 year.
And again, who?
Malik Willis.
Malik Willis. Oh yeah.
They were like,
so was that his contract or?
No, I'm just saying, like he got drafted and he's been there 1 year, and now they're like, this experiment's not working out. So they already went.
Yeah,
I'm surprised a team like Washington didn't draft Will Levis, though, to be honest. But yeah, that's neither here nor there.
I was looking at that. I was looking at that too when I was watching the draft order. I thought maybe he could fall to Washington, but good for him. So we'll see we'll see. This is going to be an exciting 2023 NFL season. So
agree.
We're going to talk about my Dolphins.
In a minute, we'll get there eventually.
Okay.
So, Jahmyr Gibbs, love him.
Yep.
Cannot believe that he went number 12 to the Lions. That was like a Hoda. Shout out to Hoda. Sent me a text. Hoda. He was not happy. A team that needed defense picked a running back.
Yes,
in the first
a running
round.
back. And isn't it just kind of like an unwritten rule where running backs usually you can get good running backs later around second, third, maybe even fourth round.
Especially when you've got a decent offensive line or whatever, you're kind of plug and playing these guys and getting the same production out of them. And you think about what you first off getting Gibbs in the first round, he would have been available like early in the second. You know what I mean? So you lose value by picking him there when you could have got him later. Now Gibbs is going to be a phenomenal player. So it's not a knock on him. It's just the spot and the team. I didn't think needed a running back at that point. So
all right, I agree 1,000%. And they obviously they traded DeAndre Swift after the draft, or it seemed like during the draft they were already thinking about it anyway. So maybe that's why they went ahead and grabbed Gibbs. So that was some information we didn't know until later. But I felt like at that spot they should have got a linebacker or something like that.
The report actually came out that Swift saw him get drafted and said, "Hey, I want out of here." And so
is that true?
That's a report that I read. Now, obviously, everything you read, who knows? But that's what I read. Is that he actually saw the draft and said, "Oh, forget this," and wanted out. So, I'm surprised Bob hasn't told you that yet.
Bob hasn't told me that. That's why I'm asking you. But it kind of worked out for DeAndre Swift because now he's in Philly. So
yeah, I mean that's a good spot. Detroit is good up and comer, but Philly's a spot to be right now. I mean, they had a phenomenal draft. So
I agree.
Making it tougher on your Dallas Cowboys.
My second favorite team, Dallas Cowboys. Yes, it is going to get tougher. And even I think they showed a picture of Micah Parsons' reactions to Philly getting all those defensive players, and he was like, really? I got to do this twice a year?
Yeah, he was not happy. I'm sick to my stomach, man. I'm just sick. And that was over the Jalen Carter draft. So
I'm sick.
All right, you asked for it.
Yep.
Well, let me ask you a question. If you could only choose one to have a Miami Dolphins minute or a Lakers minute, which one would you choose?
That's a very good question. I would probably do the. So if I choose the Lakers minute, does that mean I can't talk about Miami at all?
Correct.
I'll do the Lakers minute. I want to talk about the Lakers.
Really? I'm joking. You can talk about Dolphins though. Tell me about their draft.
Okay, let's talk about the Dolphins draft. So this past draft, the Dolphins only had 4 picks for a number of different reasons. The Tom Brady tampering thing. I think one of these goes back to an old trade several years ago. We lost some picks. Our first pick was in the second round, 51st pick.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess we were talking about trying to get Tom Brady when we weren't allowed to talk about trying to get Tom Brady, and people found out about it. Blah, 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 blah.
I ever heard.
Regardless, our first pick in this draft was Cam Smith, the cornerback out of South Carolina. To answer your question that you're getting ready to ask, how I feel about this, I did not agree with this at all. We have 2 Pro Bowl cornerbacks on our team with Xavier Howard and Jalen Ramsey. They're about 28, 29 years old. So I didn't see this coming. This was a surprise to me, and this was, I think, a surprise to all Fins Nation. But I'm assuming that the Miami saw something at him that we didn't see. Now, with our next pick, that when we picked Devin A-Chain from running back,
real quick,
I'm
in a Dolphins group chat, and don't ask me how I got in there. I broke into it, and the 2 guys that are in there, because there are only like 2 Dolphins fans in the world anyway, they were not happy with that either. So just so you know,
what are those? Just out of curiosity, what are those guys' names?
Reich and Modge.
Wow. They sound so familiar. I know there's a lot of Reichs and Modges out there. What? Anyway, that was a horrible joke. That's got to be top 5 worst joke. Oh my gosh. I'm calling mom and dad after this is over with.
Oh, that was horrible. It was a great joke.
Back to what I was saying. We picked Devin A-Chain, running back from A&M, in the 3rd round. I was okay with this pick. I was happy with this pick. He's got some good speed for his size. We have Mostert and Wilson right now, but I think he'll be a good bet on the team. And Tua can always use more help. Then we got the wide receiver from Stanford in the 6th round, and then our last pick was. It's weird. Our last pick in the draft was an offensive tackle, which probably should have been our first pick in the draft or our first option in the draft. So I don't understand that. If you're getting picked in the 7th round, I don't know how much time this guy will actually play. But I hope he lives up to the hype. So
Yeah.
To give the Miami Dolphins a final grade.
Oh,
go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm listening. A final grade of.
I gave us a B- as a final grade. I was okay with the running back pick, like I said, but I just wish that we would have went with offensive tackle for our first choice. Yeah, and I know Paris Johnson was already selected. I mean, he was like the 6th pick. I knew he was going to be gone,
right.
But I just feel like the offensive line needs to be bolstered up to help protect Tua.
I agree. Yeah. Thanks, Maj. I appreciate you, buddy.
Sure, blurb.
Oh
my goodness!
What a terrible joke.
Yes, horrible.
So I guess that really kind of covers the draft. So since we did give a little love and non-love to Gibbs, what about the choice of Robinson going in the first round? To Atlanta of all teams.
Oh, Bijan. Now I was okay with that pick because I felt like he was the best back in the draft, and they were in deep need of another back. So, well, actually, no, because they had was it Tyler Algiers? I forgot how to pronounce his last name.
They're in a running offense, and they had plenty of offense from him last year.
Yeah, and I think he had over 1,000 yards last year, so I understand that. But I was okay with Bijan Robinson. He's a good back. He looked good at Texas. Had a good career. Had a good school season. Had a good few years at Texas. So I was okay with Atlanta making that pick. I mean, but it's Atlanta. We know what we're going to expect from the Falcons. So they're not going to win the Super Bowl. Probably even make the playoffs next year. But I'm okay with that pick.
I almost feel like they just picked him to keep him away from other teams, to be honest. They were like, ooh, Philly could really use Robinson,
you think so?
I'll take it. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, like you said, and I hate that. I hope people are separating. We're not downing the players. We're kind of downing where they're getting picked in today's NFL.
Right. Exactly.
And to a team like Atlanta, you have a lot more needs than running back. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Robinson and Gibbs, I think, will have phenomenal careers, and I love both backs. So
I agree.
It's just about where they got drafted and when they got drafted.
Right.
So, I guess those were your biggest surprises. Stetson Bennett went to the Rams. Hendon Hooker at the Lions. That was an interesting one to me.
I didn't see that one coming. I guess they're trying to prep just in case anything. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I think we're on the same page. I think it's a good pick for them because they don't need him to play next year. They still have Goff. The offense was great last year. They just know Goff isn't their future. I think it was a perfect place for Hendon Hooker to land. So, and apparently, if you tear your ACL, the Lions love you. So, I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess that's what their draft board is made up of. I have no idea, but I think Hooker. I think that's a spot he can do well at. Something you never usually say about the Detroit Lions.
That's true. I think, if you give Hendon Hooker a few years to sit behind Goff and maybe get some cleanup time, I think he'll do well. Keep in mind, Hendon Hooker is 25 years old, so seems like he's been in the league a couple years already, where he should have been. But I liked it. I think he had a really, really good season at Tennessee. I think he played good at Virginia Tech. I think he'll do all right in the league. He's not going to be, I don't know about Hall of Fame type of quarterback or anything of that nature, but I think he'll be a good backup quarterback.
Geez, Rodg shooting down his Hall of Fame career before it even gets started.
Hey, man, I try to stay away from the hookers. I just thought that was a good joke. Okay, that's top 5 worst joke. All right, sorry.
So after that, Rodg,
yes,
the undrafted rookie. I guess I just really want to talk about Eli Ricks. I hate that he left, and I hate that he did end up in a good spot with the Eagles, I'm sure, but I wish he would have just stayed. Yeah.
I agree too. We didn't get to see enough of him at Bama. I believe he was injured throughout the season, and then when he did get playing, I think he had a real good game against Mississippi State where he looked really, really good, really, really well, played well, but I wish we wouldn't have been able to see one good full season of him at Bama, and I think that really would have improved his draft stock, because to see where he was at LSU and then what happened at Alabama, it's kind of like nobody ever saw him becoming an undrafted free agent. But luckily he got picked up by the Eagles, and I don't know if this is more SEC bias from the Eagles, but I think if he gets some playing time, if he works hard enough, he can get some PT there in Philly.
Yeah. Did the Eagles draft board legitimately just say, hey, Georgia won back-to-back titles, draft everyone off their defense?
Draft everybody. Yep.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure Jordan Davis was up there like, just get all my guys. Get all my guys from Georgia. Let's just bring them all out
here. Kirby Smart has to be loving that. I mean, that's your recruiting pitch. I want back-to-back titles, and now I'm sending everybody to the NFL. So why wouldn't you join this team?
And not to mention that DeAndre Swift went to Georgia too.
Yep, and they traded for him. That's hilarious too. Like right after everybody's already complaining, they're like, "All right, you say we're only drafting the defense. We'll get an offensive player from Georgia. That's fine."
A running back, yeah.
I mean, it doesn't. I mean, I don't know. I would probably make the Eagles a favorite to get back to the Super Bowl, but the way I pick winners and losers, that means it will 1,000% not happen. So
and you've always mentioned that it's hard to make back-to-back Super Bowls anyway. So that's going to be one tough thing that's going to be in the way of Philly making it back. But when you look at their roster, they have to make it back. I don't know. What do we got going on here?
Well, yeah, I'm holding E's comment to when we get to the basketball, but E's going to give us a breakdown of the Bucks here in a minute. So we see his start of his list. We'll get into that in a minute. Bo has said he would do the same thing, pay me millions. So basically he's saying, hey, that team won a lot, get all their players. Thanks, Bo.
Get all their players, yep.
Well, then now Bo gave himself a pay cut.
Ready? Come on, Bo. Shout out to Bo.
Didn't even get his first season. I mean, you can't fault the strategy, right? So, before we get into the NBA, because I think there's a lot to talk about playoff wise. I don't know how we get less teams and more stuff to talk about, but Alabama just got a transfer quarterback in. You know my initial thoughts. I think I tweeted and said it like I just would have stuck with our guys and developed our guys. What was your initial thoughts?
Yeah. I don't know why. It seems like they're bringing him in just to add more competition. I didn't. Sorry. Is that a song? Oh yes. No! I just played right into that, didn't I? Okay. Oh my gosh! Let's get back to the question. I think that they brought Tyler in to kind of add. To kind of add some more competition into the QB room. But I guess based on what you're saying, I don't know if we needed more competition. I like the guys that we have in there. And, and Tyler was injured last year. And I think going into this year, if he stayed at Notre Dame, he would have been the backup quarterback at Notre Dame. So I really don't know how good he is or isn't. And obviously there's a relationship with him and Tommy Rees. So it's going to add some more competition to the room. And I think, didn't the last day to transfer into the transfer portal already passed, or is there still time for college football? Sunday? Okay, so
looks like it was Sunday, so everybody was waiting to see. Yeah. Basically, our quarterbacks have made the decision that they're going to stay and fight. So I love that from them. That. My problem is that every snap that Buckner takes is a snap that those guys don't get. Yeah, and they both clearly need development. So, I feel like the skill positions and the defense is ready, and now we've kind of. I mean, I understand that we weren't certain about anything at quarterback, but I wasn't impressed enough with this guy to bring him in. So
me too.
I agree. And it's weird. I mean, I guess he figured he couldn't beat out Hartman after they recruited him, but did he really just look over and say, "You guys have my offensive coordinator, and I can win this two QB battle you got going on"? I think so. He said Tommy Rees is over there. I'm going to go over there, and I might be a shoo-in to win it, but that's not the case. So. I mean, I feel like when it comes to a quarterback for Bama this year, we're back at square one. We have absolutely no idea what's going to happen. So we'll see what happens over the next few months. Agreed. All right, now we'll transition into a little basketball. All right. Obviously, I said we're watching the Philly and Boston game is right behind us. No Joel Embiid. Philly playing tough. But you see this from Boston like last year, too. Sometimes it feels like they play down to whatever is going on. Plus, in this playoffs, you've seen a lot of performances from teams missing a star. Like the Clippers gave everything they had against the Suns, man. That was to be commended. What do you want to approach first? The game's coming up, or you want to go through the eliminated teams?
I feel like
I missed that, Rod. You said I feel like, and then it cut off on you.
My bad. I said let's go through the eliminated teams first.
Okay. And that's what we'll hold it for E because I asked him to say, what would you do with the Bucks if you were, this off season? So that's going to be one of those. So we'll get back to their grade last. But what we did was we decided to talk about. Oh, here you go. Here's a summer to-do list
Oh wow, he's been doing his research.
Yeah, so fire Bud and hire Nick Nurse. I'm not mad at that. Okay. Trade Middleton for Paul George. Now
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
I mean, if it's the Bucks, I love that trade.
Yeah,
but I'm assuming you have to give up more if you're the Bucks to get Paul George.
Yeah.
And if you're the Clippers, which is part of our talk here, are you giving up on Paul George and Kawhi Leonard? So that'd be interesting. Sign Jeremy
Look at number
Grant,
6.
Sign Jordan Clarkson. Resign Brook Lopez and assassinate Jimmy Butler. So assassinate's a little strong. Maybe we should like Tanya Harding him and just take out.
Yeah. By you saying assassinate, you're giving Butler more praise.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Okay. But
no, I like the list though.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I see some good things. Number 2, as far as the Middleton for Paul George, I just don't know how that would work out either way. And the only reason I question it was because both of them have health issues. You know, Paul George got hurt and Middleton was hurt throughout the season this year, so I don't know how that would work. But I think Middleton was just a good fit in Milwaukee because Giannis was the number 1, and he's not a ball dominant type of guy, just pass and shoot type of guy. So.
I would rather have Paul George as a guy who can carry the offense better than Middleton, because sometimes it seems like Middleton is hitting you 30 or hitting you 10,
Yep.
And I've always thought he was better as the third best player, whereas I think Paul George could be the second best player on a championship team.
I agree.
I think he'd fit great next to Giannis.
Who do you think's a better defender, Middleton or Paul George? I think Paul George.
Paul George. Yeah. Paul George when he's locked in, a little more length, a little more athletic, I think. So,
gotcha.
But I like Grant and I like Jordan Clarkson. That give you a little more firepower. It just seemed like at times the Bucks just struggled to score, Yeah.
So, yeah.
Brook Lopez, the only person that played good in the whole Bucks series. And then assassination. I mean, I don't understand how the one that he hit Rodg to send him to overtime. I was like, come on, they're throwing him the ball. There should have been 4 people on him and 2 assistant coaches. Like, I don't understand that strategy.
I didn't get that either.
Yeah, which probably leads you into number 1, firing Coach Bud, who seems to have great talent on those rosters and can never get it done. So I asked E to look at that for me, man, and give me some thoughts because he's well more in tune to the NBA than I am. So E, I appreciate
it, E.
And going into my grade, I gave Milwaukee an F for the season.
Wow.
Obviously I'm giving them a playoff grade instead of a full season grade. You had injuries all over the year, and you still not the number 1 seed. That is to be commended. But you lose to once the Heat lost Tyler Hero, and it was Jimmy Butler versus the world. You cannot lose that series,
right?
So I mean, I guess Bam was out there, but I don't know anything notable that Bam did in this entire series.
No, I agree. I see your grade. I don't know why I said wow, because I gave Milwaukee a D.
You acted like you gave them like way.
I know.
I'm
acting like I gave them a B or A, but a lot of the reasons that you just mentioned, and for them to be the 1 seed coming into the playoffs, you're thinking. And I think a lot of us already had them either going to some conference finals, if not the finals. And just like you mentioned, with Tyler Hero being out, it's kind of like, okay, the door's wide open. We know Jimmy Butler's going to take the majority of the shots and do everything. Double team them if necessary, but make the necessary adjustments to do what you have to do. And let's throw in the fact that Giannis missed, what was it, 2 games because his back?
He missed in but they lost one of the games he missed. So that's really like you can't.
No, they won. I think they won one of the games he missed.
That's what I said. They won. They won game 2 when he wasn't in there.
Yeah.
When he returned back, they were just terrible. So no, I can't. First off, everybody's playing with injuries or hurt or whatever. But if you're the number 1 seed and the next best team only has 1 player, like you're deep enough to win that series. I'm sorry,
right?
And you just can't use Giannis as a excuse. And then even when he came back, they were at 16 points in the 4th quarter, Rodg?
Yep.
How do you lose that in an elimination game at home?
I have no idea.
So, to 1 player, I don't get it. So that's why I gave him that grade.
I think we both agree that Milwaukee underperformed this year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. The Clippers, I went with an incomplete because I have no idea what to think of their season or what to think of their team. So
I gave the Clippers a C. And again, this is probably attributed to their injuries. They throughout the year, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George were in and out. More Kawhi Leonard than Paul George, and then. Honestly, I feel like if Kawhi and Paul George had played in the first round against Phoenix, they could have actually swept Phoenix, because if you look at the scores of those games, the Clippers were competitive in every single one of those games, whether Kawhi was playing or not. So I think had they had both of them there, they could have easily made it to the second round. But with that being said, I mean, they suffered more injuries. And I think now we're all looking at the Clippers like, do you do the same thing here as far as possibly blowing up the team or making some changes? It'll be interesting to see what the Clippers do. Not trying to say anything funny like do, but to see what they actually do. I don't think – I mean, I like Tyronn Lue as a coach. I think he's a good coach. You just got to keep your team – making sure that your team stays healthy is going to be the big thing here. So I don't know if that's going to happen next year.
I agree. And I actually asked somebody online, and they were posting about it. And they said, go ahead and blow it up and get what you can for those two guys. You know, I've talked about this off there. I have no idea what their trade value is right now.
Right. Exactly. The Clippers have to have some of the worst luck.
No, I agree. No, I'm agreeing with you on that one. And you've got a deep team, and if those two guys are healthy, you know you can win it all. But if you can continue, you know, if you can't ever count on that, what are you supposed to do?
That's true. I agree.
All right, I got the Kings. I gave them an A for the season.
The
playoffs.
I think that's easy. Yeah,
it's an unfortunate matchup they ran into, you know, and then De'Aaron Fox getting hurt, that really, you know, kind of changed the series too as well. I think they could,
especially Game 7, because he didn't produce a lot of games. He shot the ball horribly in Game 7, and regardless of what he says, I know that finger was bothering him ever since he he received the injury. So you know it's on him. But as far as the grade, I mean, they have the Coach of the Year, ended up with a 3 seed. That was way. I don't care which analyst you are. That was way better than anybody expected. So shout out to them. And like you said, they played a championship challenge Golden State Warriors team. So that's a tough out in your first round, regardless of seeding. So
yeah. And then honestly, at times it looked like Monk and Fox were out there playing by themselves. You know, Barnes, who was eligible, you know, I guess they have to figure out
Sabonis didn't do anything.
Free agent. He was terrible. Sabonis was just, you can tell he was just frustrated, not playing up to his size. And he had a shot terrible in the series. Keegan Murray, I don't think started playing until like Game 5. So, you know, it was a rough series for them, but I think they're going to grow and learn from it. And they're the main core returns next year, so I think they're going to be fine. So I give them an A.
I think they'll be all right.
Yep. Memphis Grizzlies.
Let me start with this one. I gave Memphis probably C-, maybe I'm close to a D. I'm going to go with a D. I'm just going to give it a D. And this is something that you and I have discussed. Memphis talks the talk. They just can't walk the walk. You know, earlier in the season, John made the comment he's not worried about anybody in the West. Dylan Brooks made the comments, took the jab to LeBron. He's old, blah, blah, blah. I don't worry about anybody until they give me 40, blah, 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 blah. They barely won 2 games in this series. Underperformed. They had home court advantage. Couldn't even make it out of the first round. You're a 2 seed in the West. No, you get a D from me.
Yes. And you're playing the team that you asked for. So I gave them a D also mostly because of what you just mentioned there. You just can't. And Dylan Brooks, I'm looking at his stats. I'm not sure. You know, so Rodg, he averaged 14 points in the regular season, right? 39% shooting. He's like 32% from 3. Yeah. In the playoffs, it got worse somehow. You know, 10.5 points a game, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 31% from the field, 23% from 3. Where is all this? Like, I wish I had his self-confidence, because I don't have any clue where it's coming from right now at all. And the guy's about to be a free agent. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, and they've got a big decision to make, you know, if they're going to try and re-sign him and how much money he's going to want. But it was funny. I'm listening to Doris Burke. She just really, she got into him without realizing it, I guess. But she was like, he's not an elite athlete. He doesn't bring you elite shooting. And I'm like, so what does he bring? Is it toughness? Is that what we're going after?
Right.
So I don't know.
And Memphis does not need to pay him the money that he probably wants. I mean, what are you paying him? You got Desmond Bane. I say you keep John Morant, keep Jaren Jackson, keep Desmond Bane. You can get rid of Dylan Brooks and send him wherever he wants to go.
Yeah, I would argue that Steven Adams would have been more important to them in this series than
I agree.
Because AD was eating their lunch.
Kind of close up the middle there. Yeah.
So. I gave them a D. Yeah. The T-Wolves, I can't remember if we talked about them last. I gave them a C, mostly because they swung for the fences with Rudy Gobert. Cat was injured for most of the season,
Yep.
so that should factor into it. But I just feel like they overpaid for Rudy, and then it didn't bring the dividends that they wanted, and they're still trying to figure out how to incorporate as a team. So I gave a
That's
C.
true.
I think I think they need to realize that Anthony Edwards is their best player and build around him. So
yeah, I agree. I gave them a B minus. I mean, prior to the season, fair. I had them finishing around 7-8 anyway, possibly getting into the playoffs, in which they did. They squeaked in. Unfortunately, they had a stacked Denver team in the first round on them, plus, on the road. So I didn't think they were going to – I thought they were going to get swept. I think they won one game, so good for them. But, I mean, they didn't, underperform to me. They kind of landed exactly where I thought the T-Wolves would land prior to the season. So I gave them a B minus.
Right. Gotcha. The Hawks.
The Hawks have kind of – wasn't it a couple years ago when they made it to the second round? Or was it the Eastern Conference Finals? I'm sorry. They made it to the Eastern Conference Finals
by
a couple
the way,
years ago.
This is an excellent point. They don't like him.
Yeah.
And they don't like him. They didn't like him at
Utah
either. So I don't know.
He's not a light guy.
Ooh, that's too close.
Yeah.
I guess you shouldn't play around with stuff.
I saw my pimples.
Yeah, I know. They're awful. I didn't want to tell you. Back to the Hawks. What'd you give them?
Hater. I gave the Hawks. I gave them a C. I mean, it just seems like a few years ago they had the Eastern Conference Finals when I think they lost to Milwaukee. Now they're just kind of on the brink of barely making the playoffs. I don't know. I just don't know what to say about the Hawks right now. I don't know what their future lies. I thought by them getting DeJounte Murray this past year that maybe they would play a little better, but I don't know if he met the expectations or what. And is Trae Young? Let me ask you a question about the Hawks. Is Trae Young a superstar or is he just a star?
I think he's a star with really big. I mean, the game he won and the shot he hit.
Yeah,
makes you want to say superstar.
Right.
But you look at his actual shooting percentages and can he carry a team for a whole season? I think he's a star, and it's hard to be a superstar at his size without the defense. It's like you say what you will about Steph and his shooting, but he's at least attempting out there, getting you good rebounds and everything else. And he plays in a good system that the defense is better. But Hawks just let anybody score. It seems like, and Trae Young is not gonna, you just don't expect 50 from him. So I don't know. I put him in the star category with glimpses, but not superstar. It's not going to be consistent for a whole year.
Right. I'm the same way. I say he's got star power, but he's got the aspirations to be a superstar, but it just hasn't reached that yet.
Yeah. And people throw out the superstar label way too quickly.
So what do you think about
anyway?
That's true. I agree.
What about Cleveland? I gave them a B. Top 4 seed in the East. The playoffs was a flame out. I think their starters played well in 4 of the 5 spots, and I think they're just kind of deficient in other areas. But I think if you told them at the beginning of the year you'd make the playoffs and have a top 4 seed, I think they would call that a win.
I gave them a C. I really thought they had what it takes to make it to the second round and beat New York in that opening round. Kind of surprised me, disappointed me a little bit. I think they've got all the pieces. As you mentioned, they do have a young team. Donovan Mitchell's not that old, and they got Garland, Jared Allen, and Evan Mobley. I really like Evan Mobley, by the way. Yeah. But I thought they were a definite second round team. So by them losing to New York in the first round, they kind of slipped the grade a little bit for me.
Yeah. At what point do you start blaming Donovan Mitchell for his teams not being able to win in the playoffs?
I mean, I think the load comes to him. I mean, he is I guess Donovan Mitchell is a superstar and he is the leader of the team, so it starts with him and it trickles down from there.
Can you be a superstar and never win
is a first round series? Donovan Mitchell?
I mean, have they won? Did he win one at Utah?
Wow,
no,
that's
I don't
a good
think,
question.
Right? You can't go out. Okay, let me ask this, Rodg.
So.
In LeBron's first 5 years, if he had never made the second round, would you have called him a superstar? No.
Yeah, because his jersey sold pretty well. No, that's you make a good point. I know. Maybe So how about we create a term? How about we create a term where there's for borderline superstars? What is the Herman Rodg term for that?
That guy's pretty good.
Shining stars?
He's pretty good.
How about shining stars?
Shining stars?
We'll do shining stars. Yeah, I like shining stars. Yes. There's
that
stars.
Sound like
there's
the star
shining
of an
stars and there's
special
superstars
or something.
The more you know.
Oh my God. No.
I thought that was fun.
No. I'm glad you did. All
right. I like that. The shining covers, star. That's definitely.
Go ahead.
NBA.
That's the
No.
The NBA.
Yep.
Wow, you want to go in to talk about the current series that are happening now?
Which series do you think I want to talk about?
I'm assuming Boston and
no,
Philly.
Yep, wrong.
Miami and New York.
Oh my gosh. Keep going.
Phoenix and Denver.
All right, so the Lakers and the Warriors start game 1 tomorrow night at 9:00 at Oracle Arena. I've been listening to a lot of other people talk about this series today, and
yeah, Steph Curry versus AD. That's going to be a big matchup. That's huge.
Actually, it's Steph Curry versus LeBron. Let's get it right for the post.
Steph Curry versus D'Angelo Russell. AD versus Kevon Looney, Mr. 420. Okay. 4 points, 20 rebounds. That's Kevon Looney. That's his nickname, Mr. 420.
I guess it also.
I wonder how Draymond's gonna match up against Mr. Thompson if he gets any play.
Who do you think Draymond's gonna guard?
Roy Hachimura.
He might. The Hachi sauce.
Hachi sauce.
I feel like this is one of those series where AD's gonna eat. AD and LeBron are gonna eat. The problem is
LeBron. I forgot LeBron was out there.
Yeah, I'm sure you forgot him. The problem is it's going to be extremely difficult to guard Steph and Clay, especially Steph with the running around the screens. And I don't know if they're going to put Vanderbilt on him or Austin Reeves, but I would rather Vanderbilt guard him so Austin Reeves can save some of the energy for offense, because we don't really need Vanderbilt. He's going to go out there and shoot a couple threes, probably miss most of them, and get us maybe 4 or 6 points. But we need Austin Reeves
Russell
more on the offensive. I thought about that too, but I don't know. They might put D'Angelo on him. It's just going to be a hard fight, regardless of who guards Steph. They're going to get tired. That's going to be a difficult out. Steph is going to eat. There's nothing you can do about that.
I would put D'Lo on him, and I would do something like Vanderbilt on like Clay, and maybe just try and lock down Clay, because Clay has been. I don't know what Clay has been. His last game was not good.
So. It wasn't good. No. I think he was like 1 for 9 at one point in his last game.
Yep. And I think he finally hit a second one just to do it. But he had like 2 open looks in the fourth quarter. He still didn't get down. So who knows?
Yeah.
One of them, you could see it was visibly frustrated. Nobody even ran at him. And he took the dribble like it was a free throw. And clank. I was like, this game is bad for you. So, it's going to be interesting. Jordan Poole will be an X factor. He played terrible in this last series. So, so much that Steph is having a fuss at him. So, I don't know. It seems like despite this win, it seems like the Warriors are not clicking on all cylinders. But having said that, of course, I'm picking them to win.
No, I respect that. I respect it. This is kind of a matchup I didn't want us to have. I wanted the Lakers to play Sacramento. I felt like that would have been an easier out for us. With that being said, we do have the size advantage, which means we should have the rebounding advantage, and down low. That's why I said AD. I let it off with saying AD is going to eat. It's gonna be an interesting matchup, but I'm going. I'm going with the Lakers. I'm going with the Lakers in 6.
I'm going with the Warriors in 7.
Okay.
We need to have on that other show they do cases of Diet Mountain Dew.
Yeah, we do. We
need to have something on the line for this though.
Yes. For anybody listening or watching or whatever it may be, what should Herb and I start putting on the line for these friendly wages we have going on here? Just give us something in the comments, some ideas.
Yep, we'll love it. That to me, that's a great series though. That's one of those series I'll be trying to tune in for every game. I think you've got the star power, obviously, with LeBron and Steph at the top. You've got the AD, man. I have to give him credit. There's several times against Memphis where he went down, and it feels like the regular season AD would have gone to the bench, and this AD said, "No, I'm getting 30 and 15." So
I thought the same thing. There was like two separate times when I fell down. He started grabbing his hip, and when he started grabbing his hip, I'm like, "Oh gosh, please, not again, not again." Yeah. And even in game one where he fell, he said, "I can't feel my arm anymore." I'm like, "Dude, the series just started. Like, please don't do this to us."
Yeah. So I gotta give him credit for that. So I think it's gonna be a good series. I can't fault anybody. Oh my god!
Oh wow! Yes. Oh my
god! Yes.
Dinner. We can do dinner. I don't know about the other one.
Little Herb or Herbina is in your future.
I can't even consider that.
Yes. That is a great suggestion.
Wow.
Because we'll have to pay out. I plan on coming out there, in late June, maybe? So we'll have to settle up the bet.
I was about to say 2 months, but I keep forgetting today's the first day of. Yeah, the first day is May, so hopefully next month, 5-6 weeks or something, we'll catch up and we'll
oh man, we didn't even mention E's birthday tomorrow.
It's
E's birthday. I think his 30th birthday is tomorrow.
Happy 30th birthday, E! Big 3-0.
Big 3-0, buddy.
Yeah.
So and appreciate the comments and suggestions here. You know what's funny? When I asked him about the Bucks, man, he jumped straight on it. He was like, "Got it." And was like, "When do you want this back for?" I was like, by the time we go on the air."
Yeah.
So
he's got it
with it, man. I appreciate it.
Shout out to E. Yes.
So can we talk about other series, or is it just Lakers?
No, we can. Let's go ahead and knock out the one that's currently on right now. I wanted to bring this up earlier when we were talking about Joel Embiid. I think Embiid's knee is probably a little worse than what we're receiving too. Yeah. I think Embiid might miss game 2, to be honest with you. With that being said, even if Embiid played, I still picked Boston to win this series because I picked them going to the finals anyway.
Yeah, I think they're the better, deeper team. Boston it's like last year where they're just inconsistent at times. Though there's no way the Hawks should have taken a couple of games from them, I don't think.
Right.
But I think in the end they went out, but it's some of those middle stretches that concern me. But they're the better team. Yeah. I think they win this series. So and you're not supposed to look ahead, but you have to think that you're looking over there and you see Milwaukee gone and you think this is a perfect opportunity to get back to the finals. So
I agree.
Oh, by the way, I am wearing my Milwaukee's Buck hat in shame of that loss. So despite what Giannis said, it was a failure. Yeah. Sorry guys, it just was.
Yeah.
So but hey, I'm picking Boston in this series.
And I am wearing my throwback Cavs. Yeah. Yeah. So I agree.
The weirdest series.
What about
Miami and New York? Huh? Yeah. Did not see this one coming.
I don't. How much longer is Miami going to allow? Well, not allow. How much longer do you think Jimmy Butler can carry Miami? Do you think he can carry them through this entire series?
Well, how about that ankle injury he suffered late in the game? So, you know how ankles are. You can break a bone and know when it's going to heal. You never know when your ankle's going to be right. So.
And it's gonna be sore, yeah.
So but having said that, especially with what's the big lefty's name? Hurt to start this series.
Randall.
Julius Randall. I think Bam should have a better time. I feel like New York is kind of the deeper team, but they still go too many lulls offensively because it's a Tibbs coach team. So Miami can always keep it close and they'll have a chance in this series. And I picked Miami before the series, and of course Butler gets hurt, but. Miami, I think, is smelling blood and a chance to get back to the conference final. So I picked them to win.
I'm gonna pick Miami I'm gonna pick Miami in 6. I don't know if this was my initial pick, but after what I saw from game 1, I'm gonna go ahead and pick Miami in 6. I think he is gonna have a sore ankle, but knowing Jimmy Butler, he's gonna do whatever it takes to play through that ankle. And I think the Miami supporting cast. Duncan Robinson, and even a little bit of Kevin Love in there is going to really, really help out Miami at the series.
Kevin Love has been playing like the player that the Cavs need now. Yeah. At that exact position with the outside shooting, the rebound. And the man still throws a beautiful outlet pass, Raj.
Yes, he does. Best in the game. The best in the game. And what I was gonna say is Miami is not asking Kevin Love to give them 16 to 20 points a game. It's like, dude, just if you can hover around 10 points a game and some rebounds and some assists, then that's all we need from you.
Yep. And I think that's perfect for him. So
yep.
If he gets a rebound, though, you better be everybody have all eyes up. So that's it's beautiful to watch. And then the series, if it wasn't for the Lakers and the Warriors, the series everyone would be watching, I would think, would be the Nuggets and the Suns. And I think before the series, we already both picked the Nuggets to win. And this is something we text each other over the weekend. I mean, if Jamal Murray plays like that all the time, they're going to be unbeatable anyway. But I think the series is going to play out exactly like we thought beforehand. The Suns, Booker and KD are going to get theirs, and they have no idea what they're getting from everybody else.
Exactly. That's exactly what I said. You can write down on paper and say, okay, let's just give Booker 30, 35 a game, and same with KD. After that, where is your scoring going to come from? That's the problem with Phoenix. They're not that deep. I know Cam Payne has recently came back, but still, he's not going to give you 20 to 25 a game. So I have no idea where that's going to come from. And if you look at the Nuggets roster, they got a lot of shooters on that team. They've got they've got the aforementioned Jamal Murray. We know what Jokic can do. Michael Porter, as long as he's healthy, he can give you buckets. KCP, Aaron Gordon. They've got some scorers on that team. So I'm picking Denver to win this series.
Yeah. I do definitely think they're the deeper team, and I don't know. The Suns are going to have their hands full. So I don't fault them for trading for KD. Had to happen, but it did deplete.
Yeah.
So,
but you got
other options.
You got to build a bench. Yep.
So, all right, Rodg. I guess that's kind of covered. That's all the series.
Yep.
And I think that was most of the stuff on my list before we get into the 3 questions of death. So I do have to mention, Rodg, a very rare hockey note, just because. Did you see what happened with the Boston Bruins?
Herb, I did not see what happened.
They had the most wins in the league this year, right?
Okay.
And the most points, which apparently they have a trophy for the most points, and that's called the President's Trophy. So don't ask me why. They were up 3-1 in the series in their first round series, against Florida. They were up somehow they got it back to the 7th game. In the 7th game, they were up at home 3-2 with a minute left, and they lost, and they got bounced out in the first round.
Wow.
What is that? What do you think? And obviously it's hockey, but translating that, it's like the Milwaukee Bucks, right? Your season
that's got to be extremely disappointing and deflating, especially to your fan base. You said they were playing at home, right?
Yeah, playing at home.
That's extremely,
the number 1 seed versus the 8 seed. You're up by 1 goal in an elimination game with a minute left. What is worse, do you think? The Bucks collapse or the Boston collapse?
Bucks. I would say the Bucks collapse was worse. And again, this is a hockey game. I don't know who was healthy for Boston and who wasn't healthy. If any of that comes into play, but they're both horrible. But I think the Milwaukee Bucks collapse was a little worse.
Yeah, I feel you. All right, I was just trying to delay my torture. So
I know you were.
Go ahead and bring it on.
Yeah, are you ready for the 3 questions of death?
I'm never ready, but just bring it on.
All right. Question number.
Let me stretch.
Question number uno.
Okay.
If you were a general manager in the NFL draft and you're able to get, let's just say, the first 3 picks, somehow magically get the first 3 picks, which Star Wars characters would you draft to be your starting quarterback, wide receiver, and linebacker?
So Chewbacca has to be my linebacker.
Is Chewbacca that fast, though? He's big.
He's big, but I figure he's smacking anybody coming through the line. So
just throw him out the way.
He'll be my linebacker. Okay. Plus, he put up with Han Solo all those years, so I figure he's good.
So who's your quarterback and wide receiver?
I might pick Darth Vader as my wide receiver.
What? Why?
I mean, who's gonna cover Darth, right? Darth Vader.
You will get out of my way.
Yeah, dude. Darth is either gonna be my quarterback or my wide receiver. I might make him my quarterback and make Yoda my wide receiver, and I figure these 2 guys are catching.
Why is Yoda your wide receiver?
Because those are
He's
2 of the strongest.
Small.
I know, but did you not see him in his last fight there, buddy? He would take him down. So, no, okay. Darth Vader will be my quarterback.
Okay.
Boba Fett will be my wide receiver.
Okay, I like that.
Okay, and I'll let
Chewbacca.
Chewbacca can be my linebacker.
Oh my! What would the name of that team be?
Get the heck out of our way. Except.
Oh my goodness! All right, that was a good one. Question number 2: If you had to get a life coach out of these 4 people, who would you want to be your life coach? A. Bryce Young. B. C-3PO. C. Lex Luthor. Or D. Tony Stark. Who would you want to be your life coach?
Lex Luthor.
Why? He would probably wouldn't he?
Yeah.
He want you to take over the world or some crap like that?
He would, and but
Lex
he would be the one trying to help me acquire the most power. And so if Tony Stark was my life coach, it would be a lot of
he wouldn't take it seriously
and quips that he would never take me serious. Bryce is way too nice, and he could probably only tell me about a couple things, and I'm not ready to be a quarterback. Who was number 2?
C-3PO.
What? Unless I'm traveling every country in the world and I need a translator, C-3PO will never be my life coach. So I'll take Lex.
Taking Lex. Okay.
Probably the closest thing to Nick Saban that you're going to get.
Yeah. Probably so. I like that one. All right. So for those that were listening last week, we did a version of Work, Play, Live, right? And I'm going to explain the rules just to make sure. So we're going to do Work, Play, Live with Herb. I'm going to give Herb 3 people. One person he has to pick as who he would want his coworker to be. Number 2, he has to pick someone who he'd want his neighbor to be. And number 3, he has to pick somebody who would want to go hang out with. Is that correct?
Yep. So the play is the best friend. And I know some people but the live, that's not a best friend. No. From what I've seen with people, homeowners, the person who is you live next to, you don't seem to hang out with the most. So that's where the distinction goes. Yep. So bring it on. I'm with you.
Gotcha. With those 3, all right, I'm going to give you Deadpool, Daredevil, and the Flash.
Flash is the coworker. I mean, you talk about I'm going in the break room and all the work's getting done. That's easy.
Yeah.
Daredevil can be my neighbor. So, because he can help me keep my house up and stuff like that. He'd probably be a great person to have around and very courteous, but never want to hang out because he keeps himself. And we going out with Deadpool.
Deadpool, that's what I was thinking. Yes.
There's no even other choice. Somebody going to end up in jail, but it's going to be a fun time before we end up in jail.
Yeah, but are you worried about Deadpool talking to you? No, because y'all might be hanging around too much. He won't talk to you that much. He won't talk to you to death.
Right.
So.
Right. I'm down with that.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
You only have one for me this week? I started to think of one for you, so.
That was it. Just those 3.
So I usually work out on Tuesdays. I know you can't tell with this crappy body. What time is the Lakers game tomorrow?
Yeah. It's at 9 p.m. They're playing in Golden State, so in California, so it's 9 p.m. Yeah, you can go work out tomorrow.
Who wins game 1?
Lakers win game 1.
Why? Because
Lakers win game 1. Golden State. Yeah, I'll say the rest, and I think they won game 1 in the Memphis series too. So I think we're going to follow that same format.
Did you say the rest or the refs? Because you guys do seem to get a lot of calls.
Well, it's not going to be the refs if we're playing in Oracle in Golden State in the Bay. Then we're not going to have the refs on our side.
Didn't you guys shoot the most free throws this year?
We're a physical team. What can I say?
You're going to defend them no matter what, huh?
Till the day that I leave this earth, I will defend the Lakers and LeBron. Unless LeBron leaves the Lakers, then I have to defend him somewhere else.
Similar to last question, Rodg, or to last series, if the Lakers do win, who would you rather face, Phoenix or Denver?
I would rather face Phoenix because I feel like we only have to worry about 2 guys on Phoenix as opposed to a gajillion guys on Denver. Denver's got guys that can come off the bench and give you buckets. Phoenix just has those 2 stars. And like I said, we can let them eat. They can score 30, 35 a game. But after that, what else are they going to do?
I agree.
Yep.
Well, all right, Rodg, another great show. I mean, great by me. You did okay, though. So
thank you.
Looking forward to next week. I will be on vacation next week, but I will still be logging in here to do the show because I know you can't live without me.
Right.
So
that's true.
For Herb and Rodg, the Herb and Rodg podcast, we appreciate everybody for tuning in. Appreciate the comments there. Happy birthday to E. I hope you enjoy yourself.
Happy birthday, E.
And Bo was struggling with the kids. That's why he had to dip out on us. But
it's
hopefully
all right.
Get everybody back in here next week. So appreciate everybody. Everyone have a nice night. And as always, roll tide. Roll tideth.